I've calmed down since the previous episode. I was flying.
That was a good one.
There's a lot of energy happening over there.
I love it.
Yeah.
We got to change the color now.
Yeah, can we switch the color here? Oh, very nice.
We'll go green.
Yeah, go green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, there was a March 16th, 1986, LL Research.
I wasn't
Carla.
even alive.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was like 40 then.
Oh, man, you look good for it.
I know. Yeah. Carla was channeling this and OXAL, Oxal. Yes. And they said this: we would speak to you of history. Those among your peoples are fascinated with history, that which is past history, and that's what shall be future history. And we would point out to you that if you wish a specific remedy against joy, it would be history. That would take, and it's going to explain it here in a second, that would take the first place among the active distraction of those who seek. We speak to you of these things at this time because there are those among you who have spent a good deal of time, as you call it, in prayer and in meditation, supporting what this instrument calls the Great Peace March. So this must be like 70s hippie stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We would like to point out to you that the ideal involved is a part of joy and that the history of that effort is not. That's kind of, some people may get
people might get a little testy saying stuff like that.
It is difficult to perceive the possibility of feeling joy when watching what could have been disintegrate. And we understand it among your peoples that which does not eventuate as a finished process is counted as failure. And then this is really good. Success and failure belong to that outward portion of yourself.
That's right.
Which belong to history.
Yeah. Why? Because you can have incremental successes internally.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff gets cataloged. Just say, for instance, you go to run a business. Business is chumming along, but it fails. Did you learn something across the time of that business existing? Yeah. So what might be posed as a failure on the outside, still in the course of that time, has been great internal successes for the self.
Oh, that's so good. Yes. Yeah.
You feel?
Yeah. And I like this next part. They say the discipline of joy, and I like that they use the word discipline. The discipline of joy is the discipline of remaining outside of time.
Yeah, you don't focus on the timely matter. When you start to realize that everything you do today through the laws of cause and effect, immediately, instantaneously within the moment, affect your future, you can live in all different times by living actually in the moment.
Well, time stresses people out. Like if you had everything 15-minute increments your whole day, you would be exhausted by the end of the day.
What I'm saying is, then if you have such a great effect on all these things, if you're living here in the moment now, why focus even on future elements? If you live in the truth and you do things in the moment that are most loving, you're naturally going to have better outcomes, truthful, loving, more wise outcomes for yourself in the future because they're directly affected to your present now at this moment. And don't look at the past.
No.
Because living in the moment now has no effect over it. You can have a recognition of it. You can say that, oh, I committed an error. Well, write the error in the moment. Think about that. What I'm doing now defines everything that's going to happen for me in the future. So my goal is only to live in this moment.
Yeah. Living in the moment. Like when you think about that sounds so cliche. Like spiritual gurus talk about live in the moment, be present. And then people are like, how the fuck do you do that?
I'm telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sharing this. This is very straightforward. This is a very reasonable thing. All cause and effect, all interactions are inextricably interlinked. Your whole life can be traced back to its origin and directly to where it finishes. Because you've been born and you're going to die.
Yes.
Okay? It's very direct. So with that, you can say that today, whatever I do has a guaranteed effect on my future. It's pretty simple. So if you want to have a good life, you want to have a good future, make decisions today that are most loving for yourself today because they will be mirrored, magnified, and empowered in your future self.
Yeah, and then who's deeming failure?
You would. You can only deem it yourself.
And you're basing that off of a time perception of looking at history.
Or social structures.
Yeah, social
economics,
structure, all that
or
bullshit.
all that other crap.
Like somebody that is chill and relaxed and doesn't have very much money, but they go fishing every day and supply for their family and
Success.
good to go.
Success.
And they have an amazing family that lives near the beach and
success.
Yeah. You don't know, if there's happiness and joy there.
How long do you get new joy out of a new car for?
No, that's like consumerism lasts like what? Like for me, it's like, I don't even care anymore. It's like 10 minutes.
Well, that's why
I get excited about something.
That's why they call it consumerism, because it's a repeat ideology.
It's an addiction.
It's a pure addiction. It doesn't last. It's impermanent.
Yeah, it's the same as junk food.
So again, here's the thing. Remove those consumeristic tendencies and focus on the moment right now. Is what I am doing right now? This is a question you can ask yourself. Is what I am doing right now in this moment, or the choice I'm about to make, is this best for me? Or after you have made that choice and you reflect on it for a moment, ask yourself, was that the best choice for me?
Yes. Yeah.
Now it's asking you in that moment to think, what is in the best interest for your life? What will bring you the greatest amount of joy? Is this the most logical, wise thing I could be doing? Will this pay the greatest benefit to me? If I understand that everything I do today is directly affecting my future, even though I can't see what's going to happen, but it does affect it. Am I doing what's best for myself? Is buying an extra handbag or getting a new cell phone or getting a new car or spending the extra 15 minutes of work to squeeze another penny out at the cost of what? Is that actually in the best interest for me? Is it really in the best interest for me to binge drink?
Right.
Is it in my best interest to have a conversation with Jason and lie to him the whole time?
Right.
Is it in my best interest?
Well, it's also, when you look at all of these things, it's so fleeting. I mean, and then we're basing that all off of our happiness. And then we wonder why we have a 60% divorce rate, or we wonder why, like if you really look at, if you could pull yourself away from it and take an objective view of what this frail society is built on. I mean, we saw this happen to Rome. I mean, at that point, I mean, they had running water and toilets and everything else, but you begin to pull back and see, and it's just garbage. There's nothing of substance. Everything it's double stuffed Oreo cookies. It's all chemicals. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
There's no nourishment for the soul.
It's vapid.
Yeah.
Nourishment is an extremely important thing. Not only do you need food, but the energy within you thrives off of principles of nature when it aligns with it. Thrives off of it. You can feel it at the most primal core within yourself when you start to pay attention. And you know when you're aligned with it, and you know when you're not. That's all you got to do. You won't find failures. You won't be focusing on success or like all this other crap. All you'll be doing is like, am I living the most evolutive, wise, and loving life I could possibly live right here in this moment? I don't care about living that in the future.
No, yeah.
I don't care how I lived in the past. I'm saying right now in this moment, can I actually feel those things?
What are you sacrificing for?
Yeah, for what?
Yeah, like what is the sacrifice for?
I got to work hard for my family. I got to do all of these things.
What foundation are you building with your family?
What your family needs is your love, your attention, a basic roof over their head to keep them dry out of the rain, some clothes, which don't have to be expensive,
right,
and some food, which you, frankly, could go farm yourself if you wanted to. But our efforts, our ideas are spread thin across all these other things that remove us from this moment in time and either keep us in the past and ask us to focus on our errors, which is what religion does. Focus on your errors of the past. Try and remedy the things you've done in the past. All it does is remind you of how you fucked up. It does not actually bring you into unity with the moment.
Well, I think people like that because then they can whip themselves. And then in that moment, it's a narcissistic self-pity.
Yeah.
And then from there, I can be motivated to sacrifice even more.
Yeah. Sacrifice for whom?
Right.
A non-existent thing, which you've never interacted with? Jane, by the way, human beings, nature's right in front of you every fucking day. Pay attention to it. Not some faceless, bearded, masculine, obelisk, phallic god that is telling you to sacrifice other people or your time for it.
I've asked over 100 people at least, maybe more. And I always ask people, and I've asked some of your friends, I've asked the people that we've talked to, I said, are you happy? Yep. I always ask that to people after I get to know them. And no one's ever said yes to me. Isn't that funny?
Ask me.
It's like truly, honestly, like.
Ask me.
Wait, no, you're not happy. I can tell. You're fucking stressed out to the top.
I'm tweaking.
Yeah, your hair's turning gray, bro.
Oh, dude.
Within like 6 months.
I don't get it. You see how gray my fucking head is?
Well, you're trying to be a unicorn.
Yeah.
You can't, there's a reison why 99.9% of tech companies fail.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing it for success.
You know what's so funny? They were asking Mark Zuckerberg that the other day. They were talking to him because he's kind of being more open here lately because I don't think he cares anymore.
Oh, good for him.
And he was, it was really interesting. He goes, I just know that no matter what I did, if I just persevered, that it would work out.
Correct.
Like it's just, he goes, that's where everybody quits.
Uh-huh.
And they quit at the scale because it's going down like this. They quit at the scale before it does the hockey stick,
When you see me looking like Gandalf the Grey, you know we made it.
Yeah, exactly. You got this big
There's your barometer, man. That's it right there.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's like a burden, like people don't realize that. But I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why people get super it taxes every part of your being.
I do it because I love human beings.
Yeah, of course. You have a mission. You're on a mission and a purpose. Yeah.
I am so mission.
But there's none of them are ever easy.
They're not supposed to be. Otherwise, people would have already done it.
Yeah, you would have.
Correct?
Yeah.
If we had all the answers, then what's the point of even doing stuff?
Yeah.
We don't have them.
You would have 100,000 SaaS companies.
All you and I do all day long is bash up against ideologies.
Yeah, that's what it basically
corporate
is.
Fucking ideologies all day long.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like it's the measurement, but the measurement it's like the metric system's the right way to go.
Yeah.
But instead, in the corporate world, we're going to use yards and inches because that's what we've always done.
They use the most
efficiency,
the most impermanent rulers. There is no truth behind what is going on there. There's nothing of lasting value. And so all day we bash our heads against things where it's like, why would you live and breathe in a system of falsity?
What's so funny because it's like, do you measure your love for your wife? Do you have KPIs for that?
Do you have KPIs for that? Yeah. I think you're doing a good job.
That's the most important thing in your life. So
yeah.
How efficient are you with your wife?
Do you know what makes me absolutely fucking sick when people are like,
you guys have sex for only 22 seconds?
Yeah.
Make it the most efficient?
Yeah. How would you?
Did you orgasm? My orgasm? Okay, perfect. Let's time this. Let's get it to 14
There we
seconds.
go. Yeah. Let's talk. Are you getting dividends from that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, you make me sick. Is falsity a word? I like that.
My wife's not giving me any ROI.
Yeah, I got no ROI from this. Like, fuck you.
I mean, but it's like,
come on.
Only in the business world can we step back and see that when every business is a relationship.
It's all relationships.
That's all it should be. That's what
even
an LLC is people getting together, they got these, and cooperating.
Disgusting dating profiles. Yeah. They look so good, but then you get into brass tacks, like, you guys are gross on the inside.
I did those for a while.
Horrifying.
It's so interesting because Axel or whatever pops out, and then the quote comes right in.
Like it. Yeah.
Carla. So here's the next one. So quote pops in and says this: separation seems to run very deep, and one forgets that the stones sing, that the earth shouts with rejoicing, and that the trees skip in the springtime. How easy to feel oneself separate from life that indwells all things. How easy it is to feel separate from oneself, to feel that there are factions within the self which must be reconciled. To find oneself analyzing and reanalyzing to no avail. This is just what we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is corporate America here.
Corporate America.
Reanalyzing and analyzing
to no avail. Your life. And what are you going to do? Analyze off of what data? Siloed data? I mean, I could go with metaphors all day on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could do that.
But the point is, unless you unify all of these aspects of your life, you will never be able to understand what is going on.
Right.
You don't need to reconcile Jason as all these separate parts. You're a whole. Everything about you is whole. Your arms aren't just floating off your body, are they?
Right.
No, your thoughts are in your head, are they not?
Mm-hmm.
Everything about you is whole. So why would you separate and be like, okay, if I go here and I work out the body, this will have an effect on my mind. And if I do here the food, and then
I'm going to create an
R&D
R&D department for myself.
Yeah, like fuck that shit. You cannot actually concentrate on something if it's separated everywhere.
Well, that's what's happening now with the young kids with all this analyzing, reanalyzing, and psycho stuff, therapy. And then now, everybody's kids are in therapy and stuff like that. And if, like you were talking earlier, it's just a thought. It's just an idea. It's like that idea, and ideas are viruses. They're worm viruses,
they
and
need
they
a
will
host.
spread and spread and spread. So if you have, oh my God, my parents, ended their relationship. Oh, like relationships don't end. It's not that big of a deal. That's what should be said. Instead, we're going to talk about it for, 5 years, make them a victim. And then, somebody said something mean to me at school. So now we're going to talk about that for 3 years, and then you just create these victimless, like lint sucking stumps that can't function. They don't understand. And this is what I think.
How do you deal with adversity? How do you adapt to life?
Well, there's only one road, and it says it here. The only road from separation into unity is keyed with meditation.
I've
only one road.
I've said it before. You know this. Everybody, every human being should be meditating.
100%.
It is like a must in your life.
But people have this weird view of what meditation is. You can go online, and I bet you can read 100 different ways to meditate. And I love, to me, Mother Teresa said the best way. She goes, if you're really focused on the dirt in your fingernail and you really focus on it, that's meditation.
Yeah, it's concentration.
Yeah. That's it. We need to oversimplify it that much.
We are really
so
poor
understand
as a whole at concentrating. You can meditate right now. I could pay so much attention to what you're saying. I'm not saying that I'm not.
Right.
But everything, tonal changes, right? Volume, the word choice, all of those different things come together, and that will require a lot of focus. But I'm still concentrating deeply on what you have to say. I'm not doing a crazy analysis, but I'm giving it the due attention that is required to learn something from it.
Yeah.
You can't learn from yourself, Jason, if you spread everything about yourself thin.
Right.
And you
100%.
separate all those things. Your body interacts with everything at a cellular level, at a chemical level, at an electrobiological level. All of these things, you have these interactions that all work with each other. They can't be separated.
No, because you have this false fractioning. Your brain's thinking you're fraction when there's total unity.
Yeah.
So
if you're looking close at the Mandelbrot, it looks like it's separate, like you're way deep in, but it's all the same thing at scale.
Yeah, it's fractals.
Stop separating it and concentrate. Being able to concentrate, meditating, that is your unlock, because you see how all these systems come together. You see how your life actually begins to function, but you can't really meditate on it if you've separated these elements.
Yeah, and like I said, there's so many modalities. There's so many ways, and try them. Have fun. Go out. Start like a few minutes each day. That's what quote says that. Some there are who benefit from meditating a brief few minutes each day, and some there are whose meditations are in action, and through action they are centered and with all that there is. Like your actions, if you're like, and this is a great way to understand this. Like if you're centered in your actions, he's like, that's a meditation all day long.
Yeah, because you're also seeing the laws that allow that action to happen, and if you recognize them, you're like, oh my gosh, I can see that in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Neo when he starts seeing the code everywhere and he stops the bullets.
Yeah, and he says, therefore, do not assume that you know what meditation is and what your goals should be towards it.
No, stop that. See, that whole thing, like this whole, like the goal setting for the spiritual realm, your goal is already predetermined. Your goal is to evolve. That's it. Set no other goals. No other futile. What? Go ahead.
How is somebody else supposed to measure your higher self?
Dude, it's unmeasurable.
Because when you start to meditate, then the answers come in from your higher self. And that's what he says here.
It's non-material.
He says, but rather as you meditate, listen to that voice which speaks within and meditate as that voice instructs you. There's no set time, nor is there a set method. There's one thing, however, which we must emphasize, and that is the fidelity to the practice.
Dude, that internal voice is as gentle as a rose petal falling on a still lake. It's that gentle. So you have to quiet the thoughts to listen for it. And let it tell you, because it'll tell you everything. It comes from a place that has no measure. Think about how freeing that is. This is from a totally unfucking shackled place, and you're not listening to it. It's like the greatest data dump of all time into your brain so that you can actually have material to go do amazing things. But you have to get out of the way. And you can only find that through meditation. You won't find it any other way. It's a function of your concentration and recognition of truth. And that happens through meditation. Coming from a root word, meditatio, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's finding this like a soft, equalized focus on one point. Okay, if I were to describe it in a non-ideological way, right? That is it. Like, here's this can of LaCroix. Look at it and keep fucking looking at it. And look at it until your thoughts go away.
And then as you drink it, focus on what it feels like in your throat and how it makes you.
And as you focus and concentrate more, you know what happens? You're not thinking about the thoughts that are firing through at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You're only in a pure state of observation. Then you can really hear things. Then you can really see the world around. Then you can really see yourself for who you are. Thank you, LaCroix.
Yeah, and I think there's like I said, and I don't want to get into modalities, but like for me, I'll listen to a meditation while I walk. I'll just walk gently around the block and walk for 45 minutes or whatever. And they have all these meditations online you can listen to. There's so many affirmations and just focusing and repeating an affirmation, or a mantra. I mean, there's so many different. I think the cool part is in the learning, like trying out all different kinds of ways. Like you've talked about, in the beginning, tried with the candle and looking at the flame. Like there's so many different, and
Glass
you have
sphere,
fun. I mean, you have like a copper pyramid you sit into naked, I mean, there's like, everybody does like a different coolness, different way. Maybe you're in the sauna or in the cold plunge or
go be curious.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
No judgment. Just be like, all right, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to do what I think feels right first. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go try something else. I'm not going to say, oh, that's a flop. I'm never meditating ever again. Pull your fucking self together and do the most important thing you could do.
I think like the quieting of the mind. It's our society with social media and Instagram and all these things. And then I even put my phone over there.
No, I hate it. It's sticky.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so.
Jason, pay attention to me. Hey, Jason, look at me. Look at the phone. Hey, Jason. Hey.
Yeah. So to quiet the mind, that's something that people seem almost as impossible.
It's not impossible.
But go for a hike. You will drop into moments of meditation during a hike. Whether you like it or not, you will drop into. It happens
all the time.
I've asked people. It's like, oh yeah, there all of a sudden I felt like I was one with nature and I wasn't thinking and
nailed it.
It's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like, you were meditating there for a few.
Yeah.
You've meditated. If you've had those moments where you've been in one with creation,
feel it.
That's the one infinite creator. That's what he talks about. He's like, that's meditation, being with one with your higher self.
Did you push your phone away from you under your own power and free will? Other people can do that.
Yeah.
Remove yourself from situations do not bring peace. If you are doing something that creates unpeace, stop fucking doing it.
Well, I do like the super dark room where I start getting weirded out and I feel like there's entities all around me and it's real creepy. So I do like the unpeaceful meditation. And then you have to like really focus and I'm like, what does that? Something just touch me.
I had Amanda was she's in the living room the other night. I'm meditating. And I walked out. It was like 30 something minutes later. She said, what were you doing in there? I was like, meditating.
Meditating.
Yeah, I was meditating. I was meditating.
Yeah.
I was meditating. And then she's like, what are you banging on the window for? I'm like, I'm not banging on no windows. I'm like, there's just stuff happening. And I'm just chilling. What am I going to do?
Yeah, 100%.
Fight the invisible object.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
there's nothing.
I mean, that's a reality that people have to understand.
This is my favorite part. She like shuts the lights off, so I went to bed before her. She was reading. She bombs up the stairs at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Lights are off. She's like, "Can you get me water?" And I'm like, "You got to be joking, right?" It's like scary down there with the noises.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Do you see how cozy and comfortable I am? You want me to go get the water?"
Yeah, there's just something about like what like for me, I'm always like, what part of me is frightened right now?
I like that question.
Like I do that with a lot of things, like what part of me is angry, what part of me is, and then now that becomes a meditation because you can dive, with self-awareness, you can dive really deep into that.
Yep.
The next, I'm like, why am I crying? Oh, there's some release, probably some trauma or something that I had to deal with, you know.
Last night I was my meditation was on trying to understand like what are the internal laws within myself. And that's what I said. Like, what is this law of my inner? What is it? How would I describe it? How would I define it? How would I write about it? What does it mean for me? How is what's going on internally within me? How's that affecting my outside world? That was my meditation.
I mean, I'm external from you, but I feel like you're a messenger.
I like that. That sounds cool.
Like you're here to bring a message.
I like that. I like to say, that's funny that you say that. People say like, well, what's your purpose? I said, I'm only here to remind you what you already know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's my only job.
Yeah. You're like, because people could say teacher, but I don't like that because there's so much hierarchy with the word.
Yeah.
Because it's a learn, teach, learn thing.
Just a messenger.
And I've been doing a teaching class here recently and I'm learning so much. And then I'm watching these 20-year-old kids that they're males, 20-year-old males crying and opening up to me and
awesome.
Sharing these things. And I'm like, oh, I'm learning lessons. Like I'm learning more than the teaching, the teach, learn, teach. It's like, for me, it's so gratifying because I could be like, well, I'm a teacher and I have some answers and I know some shit and I'm 50 and you're 20. But like they said earlier, the history is what, Yeah. Like, I mean, you're 30.
Just ask me.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm here so you can ask me questions and I can remind you.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you anything novel.
Which we need to do that. Next episode, I'm going to bring some questions. Okay. We've got, I saw we had quite a bit. I'm always diving into the comments.
From peeps?
Yeah, or they'll DM us on Instagram. We get a lot of questions, which I encourage you guys to do. DM us on Instagram. That's the best way. And then I can cut and paste them and throw them all in.
That's cool.
But I mean, we probably have at least 20 or 25 we could go through.
That's massive.
And we always like just start hammering people. This is
let me tell you how to live your life.
Yeah. Fuck what they were saying. Yeah. Do this.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck them.
Do what we're saying.
Yeah. We're right. They're wrong. Yeah, you lint sucking stump.
Yeah, exactly. I just picture it.
It's such a good visual. It's such a good visual.
It's the Wall-E.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed towards.
Oh, dude.
Once we get the goggles figured out.
You see people wearing the goggles and they're on their like mono wheels and stuff.
They're
like,
driving cars.
Dude, they're Teslas.
With the goggles.
You've seen the Teslas with the goggles on? I'm like, stop.
People are like hooking up. Like I get it on the plane would kind of be fun. You could watch a movie really big while you're on a plane just waiting. Because there's nothing you could do on a plane.
Do you know what's funny?
Unless you're Mile High Club. That bathroom's, I'm too big.
Dude,
you're a big
tiny.
dude. You're bigger than I
don't fit in the bathroom.
Yeah, and on a plane?
No.
I got to go like this because I'm wide, so I have to then try to piss.
Yeah, I can't get in. And then the thing sounds like it'll suck you into oblivion when you flush it.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I've always wanted to like, I've always never been brave enough, but I'd like to just keep my ass on there.
Just like, just clear me out.
See how much you'd be just like.
Yeah. Thanks for the freebie, United.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they've had those shit sickles and all that stuff hit people. Oh, yeah, big bricks.
If it falls out of the plane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Don't they just dump them?
I
think they just dump it because it's.
I don't know if you just can dump that in.
Well, we need to do we haven't done conspiracy theory stuff in a while.
Do you know what I'll do? I have plenty of friends that are pilots that do big commercial, like 777s. Yeah. I'll ask.
That's because I forgot how much the weight is. It's a lot. There's a lot of shit in one plane.
Yeah, we'll get down to
You'll be shocked. No, let's do this. We're going to end in this.
We can end on like how much shit is in an airplane.
But when they land, how much?
When a plane lands and it's spent all of its fuel, why is it heavier? That's because all the humans came in and took a shit. But that's not possible because they came in with the same amount of volume of shit. But like, what is it? I'm interested.
It's got to be.
It's because it's an isolated volume, I suppose.
On a long-haul 747 flight, passengers may use the toilet about 2.4 times, producing about 230 gallons of waste.
230 gallons?
This is equivalent to about 1,000 flushes.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's heavy because what's 7 pounds per gallon?
Yeah, just like, does United hang...
230 gallons.
Yeah, does like a 5 gallon, yeah. Like, does United... Do they get like a deal with like fertilizer companies, take all that human poo and do something with it?
I bet there has to be.
It's got to be.
Well, humans, I doubt that there needs to be something with that.
You can turn human poo into fertilizer.
Well, you can turn it into fuel too, like biofuel. And
why don't we if we all just crapped in the plane at the same time?
Could you imagine like cars driving around and then you smell like shit?
Could you imagine the pilot's like, ladies and gentlemen, we're running out of fuel on this international flight. We need you all to take a shit.
Everybody line up.
Yeah, line up.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Can we have the flight attendants get the coffee ready, please?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that derailed.
That was so quick. The masks come down, but they're not masks. They're enemas. You're like, oh, this is a mask. Oh, no, it's got a tube to shove into your ass.
This flight's horrifying. Don't worry. We'll credit you the airline miles.
Yeah, this must be like JetBlue or something. So it's cheap one.
Spirit.
Frontier.
Spirit. Yeah. We may not be able to keep the doors on, but we are definitely getting across the pond.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks,
That's a shit show, bro.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. See you later.